Welcome to Comics League. I'm Jared, and I'm here with Nick from the Phoenix Press. What's up, brother?
Not much. I mean, we've been waiting for a download. We were talking. I guess we decided we might as well make an episode out of it.
So basically what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how would we do a DCEU, in other words, if we were doing it in phases, and how would we do the movies and stuff. So let's...
Also Spider-Man 3, because I've had thoughts about that for years.
Yeah, we're going to redo... So basically what we're going to do is we're going to outline our DCEUs, and then we're going to redo superhero movies. So let's start with that.
That works out. Okay, so the thing we were talking about before we decided to make an episode out of this.
Yes, so suddenly I was just like, wait a second, we're here. Let's just record this.
Yes, it's perfect. It's perfect. You're smart, brother. I applaud your awesomeness. That sounded sarcastic, but it's really not.
Thank you.
So basically, we're kind of talking about kind of catch people up to the pre-show. What is now a pre-show?
I guess so. Yeah, I guess.
Is basically we had kind of come to this consensus, which I think a lot of people be like, the problem with DCEU is they introduce a character too quickly. They're rushing things, and they should have just done movies in individual characters and lead up to it. And so the order that I was proposing, a phase one, if you will, was Man of Steel, and then you do Batman with Ben Affleck. Although I do kind of want to, like, this is kind of like a side tangent, in an alternate timeline, because I don't know if you remember this, they offered Christian Bale $50 million to come back as Batman.
Yeah, I know that.
So I want to go on a quick side tangent where, if you kind of think about it, the Dark Knight universe easily could have slotted in to the Man of Steel universe just based off the first movie.
Yeah, it could have.
So we could have retroactively said Man of Steel takes place in DCU, and Christian Bale could have, like, but that didn't happen. It probably wouldn't have happened. But just kind of an anecdote, I kind of want to do a side tangent. So the Batman happens, and then so Batman v Superman happens, but that's kind of late in the timeline. I think kind of like later. For me is the order of from there. It's like, because I want a film in between Batman and BVS, kind of a little space.
Suicide Squad.
It's either Suicide Squad or Wonder Woman, because, like,
I would put Wonder Woman honestly in between BVS and Justice League.
Okay,
as kind of a breather.
BVS does a really good job of introducing her. Also, BVS is now renamed Trinity.
Yes, I agree. By the way, Zack Snyder did not want it to be called BVS. You know what the original title was supposed to be?
What?
Dawn of the Justice League. Or
no,
like
Justice League Dawn of Justice, or Justice League Dawn of Justice, I think is, which is the subtitle anyway. Which is the subtitle anyway.
But and also you mentioned about how they tried to force it to like the Avengers team level. But guess what? Too many people blame Zack Snyder for that. Where that was just Warner Brothers. They just told them, okay, successful, get us to a team.
I got you a name. Trinity. Dawn of Justice.
Yes, that's it. There you go. So because really, you could just relabel BVS as a Trinity movie and not change anything.
It is a Trinity movie.
It is a Trinity movie. It literally is. It ends with
Trinity, Dawn of Justice, and you have all three logos. You do the Trinity logo so that people can recognize, oh, Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. Like they see.
It's like in the marketing where they had the S shield, the bat wings, and then larger could be the Wonder Woman W. Wonder Woman. But anyway, so yeah, I agree with you. Trinity movie and a Trinity Wonder Woman to basically say, here's how Wonder Woman came about, and then Justice League.
Yeah, because like Wonder Woman is so far removed. So if I were to kind of make some tweaks to Wonder Woman, I kind of would put a little mother box kind of stuff in there.
Yeah,
a little bit.
I would. I would 100% do that. That was like the star. That was a deleted scene, by the way, where Etta Candy comes to the team after the movie and says, "Okay, so the Germans found something," and she puts on a picture of a mother box. By the way, you know that the original plot for David Ayer's Suicide Squad, which I hope you get the Ayer cut, was you know how Enchantress turns evil? It's the influence from the mother box, and then we see the Zack Snyder Steppenwolf show up.
Yeah, because that part never really makes any sense. Because but based off of that, Enchantress could have escaped at any moment.
Yeah. So in other words, that's what we're supposed to be. which is why I really hope we get an Ayer cut, which I'm still convinced we are going to, because it takes less work to do that than the Snyder cut, and it would fit in Zaslav's little price thing.
I mean, with kind of Top Gun Maverick kind of elevating Val Kilmer, now people are more realizing Val Kilmer. I'm hoping we get the Schumacher cut.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking now we can do that. But anyway, back to what we're talking about.
I have to bring up the Schumacher cut every episode.
Yes, please do that, because I want to see that too.
I'm contractually obligated to mention it every episode.
Yeah, it said so on his Comics League's contract. So, lads, the Wonder Bat guy, I'm the Zack Snyder guy, he's the Schumacher cut guy. We all have our little things.
Oh, we're all so quirky.
But yeah, exactly. But anyway, and then honestly, I would do a Suicide Squad movie after Justice League. Or like sometime after Justice League, maybe not immediately afterwards.
So what's in between Batman and
BVS?
Let's just say there's a Flash movie. Let's just say that.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. Just introduce
like it's not Flashpoint, it's just an origin story.
Just an origin story. It doesn't involve Flash.
Because honestly, that intro scene in Justice League would make a lot more sense if we were introduced to Barry already.
And what they should do is show like a scene in the movie. It's a 10-minute scene. It's essentially the security camera stuff that they were showing in BVS, but from Barry's perspective.
Also, quick tangent, the first villain for the Flash is Captain Cold.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's the way you keep it small.
Yeah, it's Captain Cold. And I mean, I could detail that movie, but let's not do that. So Flash, Batman, Flash, BVS, Wonder Woman, Justice League, Aquaman, Cyborg.
Okay.
And
then maybe Justice League 2?
Because honestly, Justice League works really good as a Cyborg origin film. So it's like introducing Cyborg beforehand, I think honestly is not a good idea. Because the Snyder cut is basically a Cyborg film.
Yeah, and Zach himself said that. And pretty much for the people, the one rule is that we don't necessarily change the plot of these movies too much. So basically, the Snyder cut is, and by Justice League, we are forever referring to the Snyder cut, not Craptus League, okay? That's what we're doing, okay?
The only question is like Aquaman, because like he does get some stuff, which a lot of the storyline does actually transfer over well to a solo movie. And
honestly, that one after Justice League, because it references because that one line with Mare where she goes, "Okay, you fought Steppenwolf." That is a nice little transition.
But also from a character development standpoint, Aquaman wanted nothing to do with everyone. Then he was forced into the world. He had a little bit of character development. Aquaman basically kind of completes his arc from Justice League. So it actually, so I definitely feel like a Flash film beforehand would help a lot more. I mean, Justice League pretty much introduces Cyborg, give him a film after that, and then we're in phase 2 territory right here. Obviously, we're probably gonna do a Man of Steel 2.
Oh yeah.
Well, what would you think would be the plot for a Man of Steel 2? I mean, obviously,
Brainiac invading.
That's kind of more of like a Avengers level threat, if you will.
Or we could do. Yes, I was about to say Metallo, and that's the government's starting to get concerned with all these super people, so they start to
bring Amanda Waller in, have Amanda Waller spearhead the project.
It's an Argus project to make Metallo.
Yeah, you can bring in Amanda Waller, which you'd already be introduced. So that works. And then for the next Suicide Squad movie, you can have Metallo on the Suicide Squad.
There you go. And then I would do probably another Batman movie, I would say.
Okay, so the second Batman movie is Deathstroke. The first one.
Not the Joker, please.
No. Okay, I'm gonna
Condiment King.
No. I'm gonna pull out the thing I'm always gonna mention. Riddler starring David Tennant.
Okay, that can work.
You got to admit, a Riddler with David Tennant would work really well in the Zack Snyder Justice.
I think so. Yeah.
Like David Tennant's acting style in that would work really well.
That could work.
I'm trying to think Also, it's revealed that the person in the suit is Jason Todd. So I'm making that alteration. And then also like it's also mentioned that like Dick Grayson's out there. You know, he's like maybe he says to us like, did you try and call Richard? I tried calling both him and at the Bloodhaven Police Department. He's not answering, Master Bruce. You know, just that line kind of tells you, okay, Nightwing is here and he exists in this universe. You know, you know, I'm a Nightwing guy.
Oh, I love Nightwing. You kidding me? Who doesn't love Nightwing except for DC?
Though, I'm starting to, because like, I want to do a Dark Knight Returns. I mean, we kind of got that with BVS, but like,
we could adapt like dark.
No. Wait. Here's my alteration. The first film is Dark Knight Returns, and you introduce Carrie Kelly as Robin. Dick Grayson's doing his thing, so basically now you have a kind of a Carrie Kelly Robin, and it's basically it's kind of the plot from like Lego Batman, kind of. Oh my god, I love that. Like, did you ever see that like that one late night skit where it's like you know, it's got like them and then Will Arnett shows up and he's
I'm Lego Batman. No, and then Ben Affleck and Jimmy Kimmel go, no one cares about Lego Batman. Ask your kids if they care.
And then Lego Batman ended up doing gangbusters. Actually, Lego Batman was actually like
that was for what it was. Movie.
For what it was a good movie. I thought it was good.
Sorry, the bathrobe. He has the bathrobe and the cowl on.
Yeah.
Robin keeps calling him Padre.
But yeah, Carrie Kelly and also she's like, what's funny is like those big glasses are fashionable again now. So it's like she's got the big glasses. You know, you basically, and then I think the second so the third Batman, I think, should be Under the Red Hood. Second, like, I don't know, because like Deathstroke could work for a third villain, but I really want to do an Under the Red Hood movie. Especially if we're setting up the whole, you know, got killed kind of thing. You know, Jason Todd, you know, whatever. Also, Jensen Ackles is playing Red Hood, so.
Oh, of course. Let me put it this way. After seeing him as Soldier Boy, I'm like, oh yeah, that's my Red Hood right there.
I mean, he voiced him in the animated movie, and he did a really good job. So
yeah. Plus, since you're doing live action, he has the physicality to play Jason.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool. Sorry, I just had it in my head, like, what if Jared Padalecki was Dick Grayson?
And they keep making plans like, oh, so you're telling me he's a supernatural villain?
Just F off, please.
You know I had to. You set me up so well for that.
I did, and I feel bad. I feel really bad.
One of the things I would definitely not do in the DCEU that they're doing right now is give minor Z-list characters projects. Like, I wouldn't have had a Peacemaker thing. I wouldn't have had...
That was basically them appeasing James Gunn. That was basically like it was a combination of they really wanted to appease James Gunn, and also they got John Cena, who is a big star in his own right, to play it. You know, so the reason why we're getting a Black Adam movie is because The Rock is playing Black Adam.
Although that actually looks really good, I would I definitely say that I think I'm going to enjoy Black Adam.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of how it came to be, but you know, it looks like a decent movie. The Rock's a good actor. He's got to work really hard to do a bad performance. So
yeah, but again, it's because I don't like James Gunn's infantile, like juvenile humor. It's very put offish, particularly when
I will say Scooby-Doo is actually really like that first movie.
That's why I added the provision when it's R-rated.
I do think his juvenile humor, like a juvenile pretending to be adults kind of style of humor, it actually works really well for like if you wanted to do that style of Scooby-Doo movie. It actually works really well, I think. Like that first movie, I actually really like that movie. Like, okay, okay, this is gonna be the Scooby-Doo show for the next few minutes. What I really like about it is it leans into all the jokes. Every single joke people have been making about Scooby-Doo for the past 30 years, it acknowledges them. You know, like the whole Scrappy-Doo, the marijuana, like every single joke we make about Scooby-Doo, it embraces them. It's like, it's actually kind of meta in its own way.
Yeah.
Like literally naming one of the characters Mary Jane. He's like, that's my favorite name. And just like all the sheer amounts of jokes, like the whole sexy Velma thing, and then turning Daphne from like a victim into, you know, actually like it takes all the jokes and just kind of like, hey, I
did like Scrappy-Doo in that movie. He was fantastic.
Making Scrappy-Doo the villain is the ultimate meta joke.
And making him a perv.
Let me at him. Let me at him.
The horrible CGI of him giant roided out.
To be fair, it was 2003, so.
Well, that's true. But my point is that that's why I've only watched 3 episodes of Peacemaker. I just couldn't do it.
Like, even though the CG for Scooby is not the best, it works well enough, I think.
But yeah, so what I would definitely do is, so in other words, so I wouldn't give like D-tier level characters any projects really.
So no Condiment King movie?
No.
Condiment King Kite Man is not getting a live action series.
Hell yeah.
On HBO Max.
Well, he's in the Harley Quinn show. That counts.
Well, you know, he's just there to get cucked and whatnot. So
yeah, but anyway, I did like what.
Okay, can we just talk about the Harley Quinn show where it's like it's filthy, but it actually kind of has a bit of a heart to it. Like,
I love that show so much.
It shouldn't work, but it does.
It does definitely work. I love where he's waiting for Poison Ivy in bed and he's naked, but he just has the Kite Man mask on.
Also,
I love
Kaylee
where
Coco is really good as like that version of Harley Quinn.
She's great. I love where they're trying to get inducted into the Legion of Doom, and then it's Lex Luthor having like a video presentation, like you just got hired into a new company.
Welcome to the Legion of Doom, where our motto is "Duh."
I love where it's on that reality show when Robin needs a nemesis who's like, "Will you be his nemesis?" It's so good.
And then Condiment King appears like, no, we don't want you, Condiment King. Well, I want to be his nemesis. No, anyone but you.
Anyone but you. Yeah.
You don't fit the mustard. You don't fit the mustard.
I love where Wonder Woman.
Okay, you're not going to acknowledge the epic pun I just made.
Yeah, I know. I love where like Wonder Woman makes some kind of anti-alien joke, and then Superman goes, "What's that supposed to mean? Be better, Wonder Woman." That was so good. But anyway, so what movies do you think? I mean, so I actually, here's the thing I want to say. You said something in our pre-recorded, in our pre-show back room about the Catwoman movie CG, and I wanted to.
Oh my God! Yes, you could have introduced that a little bit better, but like, I guess we're going in this.
I just thought of it.
I guess we're going to the section where we're redoing superhero movies.
Yeah, now we're doing if we're going to redo a superhero.
So
we're going to pick like a couple of movies to redo. Go.
So I guess we're starting with 84. And just get that out of the way. Like I think Kristen Wiig was good as Catwoman. I almost called her Catwoman.
I'm like, wait, what?
As Cheetah, I think the last bit, like that CGI was so bad. It's like I've seen better CGI in Catwoman. And I'm talking about the Halle Berry version, by the way.
Yeah. There was one. Like, at first I thought, oh, it's actually cool until she starts moving. I mean, when they showed her face, that was cool. The rest of it,
yeah. I mean, a really telling sign that they knew it was crap is they set it all in shadows. That is a telltale sign that the people making the film know the CGI is bad
because they want to hide it.
Exactly.
But yeah, and my other problem with Wonder Woman 1984 is that all of a sudden she just has the golden armor. She's like, oh yeah, I found that, and then she doesn't use it that much.
Yeah,
it gets wrecked, and I'm like, what?
So many things wrong with the movie.
And she suddenly knows how to fly.
You know what movie I really feel kind of deserves better?
What?
Spider-Man 3.
Okay, let's talk about Spider-Man 3.
So Spider-Man 3, as is a meh to not good movie. But, huge ass. I feel like there is a good movie buried in there, like the Sandman stuff, the forgiveness. Because it's well-known story that Venom was shoehorned in there. Originally, it was supposed to be Sandman and the Vulture, and the Vulture was supposed to be played by Ben Kingsley, which that would have been awesome. It was either Ben Kingsley or John Malkovich.
I could see either of those.
Oh yeah, John Malkovich as the Vulture. Though Michael Keaton did an amazing job as Vulture. That version of Vulture was
reportedly on the set. He kept saying, "I'm Batman."
Well, he's not wrong.
He's not wrong. So
I'm sure, like, he's like, "What do you say?" Because, like, what do you say to that? Because, like, he's not technically not wrong.
Yeah, he has been Batman. Here's what you say: not anymore.
Oh, okay. Side tangent. One of my there's actually, like, in Spider-Man Homecoming, there's 2 DC references. There's one that everyone talks about where it's like, "I'm sorry, Flash, you just weren't fast enough." Flash Thompson. But saying Flash and fast, we know what you're getting at. I think the writers, they couldn't help themselves, and God bless them for it.
Yeah.
But there's also a Blink and the Miss It one where it's like after the party where Vulture drops him, there's kind of like a really quick shot where you see Vulture framed up against the moon, and that's obviously
it looks like Batman.
Yeah, it's a reference to that shot from '89.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. And it's
kind of like it's like a split-second shot, but like he's perfectly within the moon. It's gotta be.
Yeah, it's gotta be. At least they were inspired by it.
I guarantee you, the creators are like, I'm sure, like, they go through the footage and they see that shot and they look at the CGI guy. It's like, really? Like, we got Michael Keaton as Vulture. I couldn't help myself. They're like,
yeah,
fine. It's a 2-second shot. Anyone who notices, it's a reference. Whatever.
Yeah, I love when they hide DC references into things, like in I Am Legend, and they have the reference to Batman versus Superman before there was a Batman versus Superman movie.
Or even better, you do too much. You're not Superman, Literally in the movie, and they use it in the trailers constantly. Like, that blew my mind. Like, wait, did that Marvel film just say a DC thing? Like,
speaking of that, in that show when Peter shows up and goes, "Hey, where are all my comic books? Oh, those horrible things, I threw those away." And I'm like, no.
And the best part is,
what?
Those are probably Superman comics. Like,
yeah, mostly it's probably DC.
Those are probably because I think it's actually in universe that, like, DC Comics exists in Marvel and Marvel Comics exists in DC. Like, I think they've kind of shown that a few times. Okay, sorry. But anyway, getting back to Spider-Man 3. In my opinion, obviously Venom is the biggest problem here. But the thing is, what I would do is I cut off the film. At the church scene where he gets rid of the suit and it falls on Eddie Brock?
Yeah.
That would be the end of the film.
I was about to say, you should end it there.
And basically have the film be like, it's basically a part 1 and 2 kind of thing. Where, because you really double down on the forgiveness to where it ends on a low point where he thinks he killed Sandman.
Yeah.
And he realizes it. Or he talks to Aunt May and she recoils and he takes the suit off and then it falls on Eddie Brock. You see him roar, cut to black.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I would love that.
Because that would give more space for, like, basically breaking that movie into 2 parts, give more space for everything, gives more space for symbiote Peter, gives more space for a lot of more stuff to breathe, and it just, opens up the second end a lot better.
Exactly. I could definitely see that. I think it would be it's a great idea because the main complaint of that movie is that it crams too much in. If you split up into 2 movies, there you go. That's done.
Yeah, it's basically Batman and Robin all over again.
Oh yeah, but
boom, like Brain Dead Bane.
Yeah, that was the biggest. Like, oh gosh.
And it's really kind of a middle finger to the comics. It's in the comics, Bane is actually a really clever person.
Yeah, it's like Nolan had a better conception of Bane.
And it was actually kind of funny. Like, they did. I really don't like how instead of Venom, it's like, oh, that mask is for a pain reliever. You know, it's like,
yeah,
it's kind of stupid. You know,
so dumb.
They basically did it to give Bane a weakness, like a kind of like a third act. You'll rip the mask off, kind of thing. Like it's basically give him a weakness. You know,
yeah, and it's like, remember, he didn't use he wasn't like a roided out dude in that movie either. So I'm like, oh gosh, dude. Although I did like how they recreated Nightfall, so I was like, oh, okay, that's cool.
No Man, they also did No Man's Land in that one too.
Yeah, exactly. But I also love how Batman apparently knows how to heal a back in like a week, because it's like, I'm just gonna hang on ropes. Okay, I'm healed.
Yeah, it's really stupid.
That's
It
how
really
he-
should have. It really should have been like over the course of like a year or two or something. You know?
Or two-parter. He breaks his back, a Bane takes over Gotham, and movie.
You know what's really sucks is two-parters were actually the style at the time.
Yeah.
So they could have done Dark Knight Rises parts 1 and 2. I mean, people would have groaned, but it would have been fine.
And in part 2, you introduced Dick Grayson. In other words,
You mean John Blake?
but
I'm sorry, like,
but don't make it so his
John,
real name is Robin, because that's dumb.
that John Blake stuff is such a huge cop out. Like, hey, we got Robin in the movie. It is such like, okay, yeah, he acts like Robin. He kind of fills a Robin role in the movie, sure, but like having his like last minute be revealing his name to be Robin is such a stupid. Like, honestly, you know, like what it should have been is what it should have been is they like when they're calling out for his stuff, they should have said Richard Grayson, and he was like, actually no, I go by John Blake.
Exactly.
You know, like that
or his name, because remember he was in like an orphanage. His name was Dick Grayson, but when he left the orphanage, he changed his name to Blake.
Oh no, even better. Have it be Richard John Blake.
At least you're doing that. See, that would have been better than why don't you use your real name? No. Robin.
You know, Dick. Well, the thing is, calling himself Dick Blake, because like if in that kind of situation, they would have said Richard. You know, you know, that kind of nickname kind of thing.
But everyone would have gotten it if you said, "Oh, my name is Richard."
Yeah, and then also the other thing is that bag could have been like his personal effects, and stitch onto the bag. You when he walks out, you see it has a Robin symbol on it.
Or Nightwing and just skip the Robin part, and then what they could have done.
Well, I'm just trying to think of a way to easily communicate to the audience that he's Robin.
Yeah,
like have the classic true. Robin symbol, have it be stitched onto him, you know, kind of thing.
And what they could do is they could make it so like Batman was already had like an in case of emergency suit in the Batcave, because you see at the end of the movie he ends up in the Batcave. Then the cave comes up, in other words, that little square that Batman stood on, and then what you see is he sees the suit. Then the last shot of the movie is him spray painting the R onto it.
Or even better, what he does is you see the suit pop up, he looks at it, he kind of shakes his head a little bit, he grabs some blue spray paint and goes, you know, basically does, you know, basically implying that he's going to turn the bat suit into the Nightwing suit.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm like, oh gosh. I'm like, I wish he would have returned so we can get like more, so we can like see like him as Robin and stuff. But when Nolan made a lot of really questionable creative choices in those movies, where I'm like, people talk about they're so true to the comics, and I'm like, are they though?
The biggest thing is his insistence in making Dick Grayson be the one who got killed. Like, why?
That was Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm talking about Chris Nolan.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I in my head, I thought you were talking about Zack Snyder. I apologize.
No. Well, I think the reason why he wanted Dick Grayson, by the way, to be the dead Robin is because that's always the one that Robin's always had a closer relationship to. And then killing Dick Grayson would essentially push Batman to that point where we meet him in BVS, where he's like a murderer.
So would Jason Todd would have had the same effect, you know.
I would argue.
Here's my theory. Here's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
I think Zack Snyder didn't want to do any Robin stories. So that's why he had Dick Grayson be the one that got killed. Because if it's Jason Todd, then he would say, "Where's Dick Grayson? Where's Dick Grayson? Where's Dick Grayson?" When is Tim Drake showing up? You know, because having it be Jason would basically imply that Dick Grayson is out there.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Zach knows this, and I think he didn't want to do a Nightwing story. He didn't want to do that thread, so he just wanted to like have it on the wall, have it be part of the backstory, but not have to touch it, not have to go into that whole backstory.
Or what he could just do is that if he would have continued on, I mean, he could have like changed it and said, okay, that's actually Jason Todd.
Okay,
because remember, a Nightwing movie was on the slate.
So, question: is there anywhere in the DC films where it says it's Dick Grayson
on a tombstone?
Okay.
But they could always say that that was before Jason Todd, and they had to fake Dick Grayson's death.
That just seems like too much for not enough. A little convoluted, like that doesn't seem.
Well, they could always just say that they could always like make Jason Todd, Dick Grayson essentially the Jason Todd of this universe.
I just say like I basically say, okay, so every future edition of that movie, we're changing the Grayson to say Jason Todd, and we're just changing that plot point because I don't care.
Yeah, you could just change it and be like,
and,
okay.
And honestly, most people wouldn't really care that you change that plot point because people didn't like the plot point anyway. Mm-hmm. So I would be like, okay, it's Jason Todd now. We'll CGI Jason Todd onto that gravestone, and whatever.
There you go. That's done. That's totally fine. And I believe that Snyder himself has gone back and forth on that, so I don't think he would care either. But anyway, go back to Nolan. Nolan made some really creatively questionable choices. It's like when he said the way he made Talia al Ghul was all wrong. Like when she said Talia, I'm like, oh, that's actually really cool. And then she stabs Batman in the gut. I'm like, no. She doesn't want to kill Batman. And my point is that Talia al Ghul, as far as I know, doesn't want to kill Batman.
I mean, she'll roofie him and she'll date him into conceiving a child.
Yeah, but the point is that she is in love with him.
But she's not a monster.
No, but my point is she's very morally ambiguous. But let me put it this way, she wouldn't do in The Dark Knight Returns what comics Talia would never do what Nolan had her do.
Oh, I agree. I was just having some fun.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like that. The fact that he didn't have like, I understand that Nolan wanted to have his movie be like very grounded, but then he shouldn't have used someone that's like dependent upon a super drug.
So Bane being part of the League of Assassins, I'm actually not really, I don't really care about that. Like that's fine for a plot change. Like I can see someone like Bane being in League of Assassins and him being too extreme for League of Assassins. Okay, that makes sense. Like that's enough of a stretch that falls within their own believability. And honestly, for the third movie, tying back in to League of Assassins, I think was a good idea.
Yeah, that was 100% a great idea.
I mean, I would have just brought back Liam Neeson because that guy's cheated death so many times. Like this is literally
what they can do a flashback. The train goes down, and then right below Gotham Tower happened to be a Lazarus pit, and the body just flew into the Lazarus pit.
or just say like, because you got to realize there's been times where it's like been weeks where the body's been dead weeks. They're still getting Lazarus pit, whatever.
Or it's like Talia found the body and brought it to a Lazarus pit. There you go.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah, easy way to explain it.
Because, like Talia, I mean, obviously Talia would have known her father was doing that, so she was probably nearby, So let's say they recovered the body in 12 hours and then got the body onto a plane and jetted to the nearest Lazarus pit, like let's say it's 12 hours away. Like, that's perfect. Plenty of enough time.
Plus the fact I love Liam Neeson as Ra's al Ghul. He was fantastic.
Yeah, and it's like literally, like if you're gonna bring back a character, like resurrect a character, like literally, this is a character who's known for being resurrected.
Yeah, his whole thing is being resurrected.
So like bring Liam Neeson back, or whatever, or like, and if you don't want to do Liam Neeson, have another character be Ra's al Ghul, like have him say he had to switch bodies or something. Like you could, there's plenty of stuff you could do and have it make sense.
What they could do is they could have made it so it's actually Jason Todd, but he had no relation to Batman in the beginning. Because they could essentially take Under the Red Hood and adapt it.
Well, that's just turning the movie into something totally different. That's an entirely different discussion.
Well, oh yeah, okay.
Like you're kind of turning the movie into something totally different. I'm trying to like at least work within the confines of the basic plot structure.
Yeah. But yeah, 100%. If they wanted to bring back Rage, they could have totally done that instead of just use the character that's one of the least grounded Batman villains.
And as far as the steroids, like they could have said like they could have made Venom like a vapor, and he's constantly inhaling it,
Yeah,
and
or
they
could have just
the thing is like they could have said Venom, it's like or they just could have called it like V26 or something to where it's like it alludes to it, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they could have also because the military has long been experimenting with super soldiers. What they could have done,
Hitler methed up his army. So
what they could have done is made it so Bane's former U.S. military or former military of like South America, if they want to make it the South American version, and they could have made it so he got dishonorably discharged from the military. Then he went to the League of Assassins.
Here's what I would do. If you want to make it in the movie go full circle, you want to know what you do? The blue flower. And instead of it turning into the fear toxin, what he does is he takes the blue flower and on his island of San Pablo, he turns it into Venom or V26 or just change the name of the drug. Because if Venom is too silly of a name, just have it be something else, but it has the same effect. People will kind of fill in the blanks. I think that would
be hilarious if the name of the drug is LV426.
Why are you doing an Aliens reference?
I had to.
I mean, I don't blame you. I respect the fact that
you set up so well when you said V26. I was like, oh.
I mean, to be fair, I put in stuff simply because I wanted to, so it's a fair play.
Yeah, you know what? I'm getting back at you right now, dude.
Then do. It's your show. Get back at me all you want.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I fall onto that topic.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I will say the movies are still mostly good. 1 and 2 are great. In other words, Begins and Dark Knight are great. Rises is meh, I would say.
Okay, so this is my hot take that's gonna get me canceled. I love Batman Begins. Dark Knight is boring. Dark Knight Rises is okay.
I could see you saying that because there are certain times when Dark Knight like drags on, and I'm like,
it just goes on, and it's like they first off, I think Aaron Eckhart they kind of wasted his character and his Two-Face because like I like the setup, and I think Aaron Eckhart would have done a really good Two-Face if you give him more flesh out.
They should have made him Two-Face earlier.
It was so superfluous. Like the whole him being Two-Face. It was like Two-Face for like 20 minutes. It was so superfluous. It was like you could have literally cut out all the scenes, and literally the film probably would have been the same.
Yeah, what I would have done is move the Two-Face part more towards like make it a halfway point to mark the middle of the movie. He becomes Two-Face, and then the whole thing is him and Joker screwing with Batman.
Well, actually, what I would have done is I wouldn't have killed Two-Face per se.
Mm-hmm.
I would have just killed Harvey Dent. Say Harvey Dent's dead, and in this universe, Heath Ledger never died. And so Dark Knight Rises, and this is an entirely different movie. You got 3 people: Two-Face, Joker, and Harley Quinn, played by Christian Bell.
Yeah, I could see her playing.
I mean, come on. Christian Bell from like late 2000s, like 2009, 2010, would have been perfect as Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I can do that.
So you have, Heath Ledger, and the thing is, like, Christian Bell and Heath Ledger are really not too different in age, so that would have been fine from the age perspective. and then Aaron Eckhart's Joker, and the thing is like, they're doing the Dentak in his name, then Two-Face appears, and that's kind of a whole revelation that kind of twists things in. You want to throw Catwoman into the mix? I don't know how you fit her in, but
no,
maybe.
Because here's the thing: Catwoman was such an afterthought in that movie. The only thing she does that actually helps the plot is she kills Bane.
I mean, as a supporting protagonist, I think she works. I mean, she does more than John Blake, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, but I wish they did more with her and showed more of her establishing the relationship between her and Batman.
But as far as like what she adds to the plot, I think she adds a lot. Like she questions the morals. Like she's like the storm is coming. The rich people. Like she kind of calls them out a lot. Like there's really good interactions, and like she is actually integral to the plot. Finishing and whatnot. So I feel like Catwoman. I'm kind of defending it a little bit.
I see.
Like John Blake is superfluous. Like you can cut him out, and it's fine.
Yeah, because really he doesn't do anything really.
Yeah, whereas Catwoman, she's set up early in the movie, and it's just like her interactions really help because really it's like Talia versus Catwoman. That's kind of like the thing. And he ends up choosing Catwoman.
And don't get me started on Talia.
I do think it was actually a really nice touch to where in the final scene when we see Bruce in at the cafe, Catwoman, if you notice, she's wearing the mother's pearls.
Mm-hmm.
The very thing she tried to steal that night. I thought that was a really good capstone to the whole character and the dynamic. I thought that was really nice.
Well, another thing I would have done is I would have made it so he knows. In other words, he met Talia when he was training in the League of Assassins. He recognizes her in the movie. She tries to like gain his trust by saying she's turning over a new leaf. We have the whole, except she doesn't die. She gets put in prison. Then she's broken out by Damian Wayne. There was Damian's a little older because I'd say a couple of like a good amount of time has passed between Begins and Dark Knight Rises.
Okay, so basically we're doing Dark Knight Rises, but we're setting up for a fourth movie. Here's what I would do. Basically, Talia would do flashbacks to his training at the League of Assassins when Batman Begins, and basically what is implied is he had a relationship with Talia behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
During that time, because like he was there for quite a long time,
mm-hmm.
And even if we never saw Talia, there's nothing to say she wasn't there.
Mm-hmm.
And he might even not even known that she was Ra's al Ghul's daughter.
And then in Dark Knight 3, we can show flashbacks to them actually together.
Yeah, and then she reveals, I'm actually Talia al Ghul, because he thinks like the girl, like he just thinks he's some like general in the League of Assassins.
Mm-hmm.
And then like, and you could still have the stabbing, but it could be like, I'm sorry, Bruce, but I can't let you do this. She stabs him, not to kill him, but to stop him from doing this thing. Because like she knows that he'll survive from the stabbing, but he won't be able to stop her. Like that actually makes it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, in other words, and then we established that.
So you still get the sting of betrayal, but it's still within character.
Yeah, exactly. That 100% works.
And then, so, and I'm also doing this to kind of fit in what you said. The after credit scene is she goes to prison and she gets broken out by Damian Wayne. See, the thing is, the reason how that works is you establish in the movie that they had relationships during that time, and you got to realize there's been like what, like 10 years between those movies.
Mm-hmm.
So
I would
for
say
him
10 years.
So let's say Damian Wayne is 12 years old.
Yeah, there you go. And
so at the beginning of Dark Knight Rises, Damian Wayne is 12 years old. And that's a post-credit scene. So it's like, and so that way it makes perfect sense because you already had a step. I think like a screenwriter. So I think set up and payoff. So that's kind of where I'm attacking it from. So you had set up the fact they had a relationship all that time ago. And so when Damian Wayne appears, it makes perfect sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you think you don't even need to say Dame, like, oh, Damien, it's so good to see you. Just say Damien and people will know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Or even better, have a 12-year-old kid and it's like, hello, mother. And then, good.
Yeah. And then the next movie is the Son of Batman story arc.
Okay, I gotta read it. Like, hello, mother. Are we gonna go see father now?
Yes, there you go. There you go. That's the last line. No, and then the camera pans over to Talia, and then she just smiles, and then
No, even better. So let's say they're at Arkham, you know, like they're on the roof, and Damien says, "What now, mother?" And she says, "We're gonna go see your father." And then it pans up, and you see the bat signal.
Yes, there you go. That works.
That tells you that tells the audience everything.
Yeah, that's all. And then the next movie is the son of Batman. See, we should be in charge of the DCEU. We can do this.
Where's our paycheck, Warner Brothers?
It's not that hard. We can do this for you. I was like, come on, guys. So anyway,
I can't wait till like I'm a writer at DC Comics, and then I just bring you in kicking and screaming to be a writer.
You don't have to bring me in kicking and screaming. I'd love to write for DC. First off, like, I would eliminate all traces of Brian Michael Bendis.
So like I'm doing my Batman run, and like so we're okay. This is a good one.
Right.
If you could write a comic for DC Comics, what would you write? I would do a Batman or a Nightwing title.
I would do Superman or Justice League.
Oh my God, you and Justice League! I'd like take a peek at your script, being like, could you put any more Snyder Cut references if you want? Like,
yeah,
it's like I'd email and you say, you could put more if you wanted to. Like, no,
I'd be collaborating with Zach, going, okay, let's secretly just do the entire movies as comic books. And then for Superman, I would constantly be like making fun of Brian Michael Bendis's run, and it's like it would be essentially like John Kent shows up, and then Clark goes, "I really don't want to see you grow up," which has a double meaning.
Yeah.
Oh, and then also I would have Superman be with Wonder Woman instead of with Lois Lane, because I was a big fan of that storyline in New 52.
Yeah.
And then so the original plan for New 52, Donna Troy, is she was going to be the daughter of Superman and Wonder Woman.
That would have worked.
Yeah, that would have worked. But the problem is, so with that series, the first 2 volumes were really good, and then DC brought in some P.J. Tomasi to write it, and he sabotaged it.
Oh my God, that guy! Oh my God, I hate that. Okay, I'm not gonna say that word. I really don't like Peter J. Tomasi, because he did like the last few volumes of like the original run of Nightwing. They were terrible. It was so dry. The dialogue and the writing was so bland. It was so and that's what ended they ended the original run of Nightwing with Peter J. Tomasi.
And that's what happened with Superman Wonder Woman. Because what they did is that in the volumes where he picked up, Batman Superman and Wonder Woman were constantly fighting, and then they eventually broke up. And I'm like, God damn it, Tomasi, you're really messing it up. Where the first 2 volumes, they were building towards something.
He's not a good writer. He is not.
I think he's supremely overhyped. He's like Tom Taylor and like a lot of those guys writing at DC.
He sniffs his own farts a little bit too much.
Yeah, exactly. But yes. But yeah, so it'd be kind of funny. We would be constantly, if we were in charge of DC Comics. Oh boy! First off, we would have a fist fight over. I'd be like, I want to ship Batman and Wonder Woman. And he'd be like, no, Superman and Wonder Woman. You could do a Black Label. There you go. And then what I would do is I would call Tom Taylor into my office. I would call Tom Taylor into my office, then slide a comic book across the table, and he opens it up, and it's the comic version of him of me going to him, "You're fired." I would essentially fire most of the creative staff on there that are terrible writers.
You're fired. You're fired. F you. You're fired.
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Tom Taylor. By the way, I hired someone to light your pants on fire because you're such a liar. And
Yeah.
by the way,
What I would do.
also you're fired.
So remember when Bendis was coming to DC? They had those ads. Bendis is coming. So to advertise,
I took them long enough. I'm sure the ladies were like, "Oh, please, let's get over."
And then what's funny is that what I would do is I would make it public that I'm eliminating all traces of Bendis, and then the ads would be Bendis is leaving. Like I would, for one thing, completely eliminate everything he did with Superman. Gone. Everything he did with Justice, literally every single thing he did at DC, gone. Eliminate Naomi, eliminate everything. Because he didn't contribute anything of value to DC.
And nothing of value was lost.
Yeah, exactly. Not everything he contributed to DC, no one likes. Like we saw, no one clearly likes Naomi because her show got canceled after one season.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why she was in the Justice League because he was writing the Justice League. So once again, completely deep Bendis Superman, and then proceed to like essentially put as much Snyderverse references into the Justice League comics as humanly possible. Let's see what else would I do? That would be hilarious. Let me see. I would actually put a competent writer on Wonder Woman because she's one of the characters that, for how high she's held up in the DC pantheon, she's never really had that good a run short of George Perez.
I think she's done some good. I know there's ever heard of Bill Muzzard-Loeb? She did a really good Wonder Woman run.
Yeah, maybe Greg Rucka, but it's very. She hasn't had that. I'm sorry, go ahead.
See, the thing is, I'm actually friends with Bill Muzzard-Loeb, so I actually gotta like defend his Wonder Woman run, and whatnot.
I've never read it, so I'll check it out. But my point is that
if you want anything signed, I can arrange that.
Oh, sweet. But there's not a lot of like well-known Wonder Woman stories though, besides like Hikatea and maybe like Eye of the Gorgon and stuff. But besides that, it's like, let me put it this way, she should be more like popular than she is.
Honestly, to be perfectly blunt, she's most well known, well, nowadays for two things, but like mostly she's known for the Linda Carter show.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the biggest thing. And now the fact that and also Gal Gadot's butt.
Well, yeah, thanks, Joss Whedon. But
fun fact. So when I was watching like Justice League, I thought all those shots were Zack Snyder. Like, oh, Zack Snyder, he's all sexist. He has this obsession with her butt, and then I watched Snyder Cut. It's like, wait, all the butt shots are gone. Are you saying those are Joss Whedon? And then knowing what I know of Joss now,
Oh, another thing I would do is I would make
also the fact that none of the Justice League people liked Joss Whedon. That also makes sense.
I'm like, okay.
Also, I'm pretty sure Gal Gadot wasn't a fan. Like, could you have the camera pointed somewhere?
Remember the part where Flash falls into her, that was a body double. And he threatened her career. So going back to how I would run DC, I would also make it.
Can I just say that was such a stupid moment because like that is an anime moment. That is a pure anime moment.
Yeah.
And it flies in it is like such the wrong. It goes against the whole tone of the movie.
And the tone of that Wonder Woman, because we had just had the Wonder Woman movie. But the way I would run DC is that I would also make sure the editors did their job and tell them, you can tell any writer, I don't care who it is, I don't care if it's Grant Morrison or Bendis, you can tell them no, and please do.
If you had to bend Bendis's arm, go ahead. Actually, that would be preferable.
Yeah, except what I would actually do is that if Bendis did anything stupid, like his entire Superman run, making Superboy wear that really stupid 90s look, I would essentially say, in the next issue, you're undoing that.
I actually kind of like the 90s Superboy look.
It looks horrible in the nowadays. It doesn't fit.
But I like the era of comic books where everyone got a leather jacket.
That's true, but
I'm sorry, but you got to admit, if you put a leather jacket, if you give like Rogue's look now,
this way, Wonder Woman got a leather jacket. Same tune. Wonder Woman got a leather jacket.
Like Rogue's look from like the 90s. If they had it on her now, you would be defending that to heck.
Oh, I know that they have it in the comics. But let me put it this way, it looks better. But I don't like the haircut. At least get rid of the stupid haircut.
What's funny is that haircuts actually kind of come back in style, like the whole broccoli thing. That's actually come back in style.
But it's just there's a reason why they changed Superboy in the early 2000s to not have that look.
They went in like the exact opposite direction. Like here's a black T-shirt with a red Superman logo on it. You're Superboy now.
Yeah, there you go. That was cool.
Granted, that makes for the easiest. Like I'm like, so when I get into shape and I actually get like kind of jacked, I'm gonna do a Superboy cosplay, and all I have to do is get like blue jeans and like the red T-shirt and make sure I have the muscles. Maybe slick my hair back or something.
I have long said the one cosplay I want to do is New 52 Superman from the very beginning, because all I need is jeans, boots, T-shirt, and a cape. Done.
I want to do Nightwing so bad.
Mm-hmm. But anyway, what's the one? What's one of the things you would do if you ran DC?
We're kind of steering more to a classic heroes direction, not be as political.
Oh yeah,
I'd bring back Vertigo for sure. And be like, if you're gonna go political, do it in an original comic with Vertigo. Like Vertigo was kind of the home for that kind of stuff anyway. So like, if you're gonna do something, put it under Vertigo. Because like, I'm sorry, but like the DC Blacks label, it just, that is such a kitschy name. It's like porn parody levels.
But here's the thing. With Black Label, it was supposed to be the more mature books, and then Batman's private parts.
But that was what Vertigo was for. Vertigo was for the more mature books. Those are for, but like Vertigo was like mature as an adult, like actual adult storytelling, you know. And Vertigo has like some amazing, some of the most amazing books ever. And I just bring back Vertigo, and like the whole thing about Vertigo is like turning it on its head. It's perfect naming, you know. Whereas Black's Label is so generic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Marvel actually had a better name in the early 2000s, like the Marvel Knights. You know, like as in like knight in shining armor, but it also play on words like Marvel Knights as in darkness. And that actually kind of worked for like a mature rated storytelling thing. Like that was actually kind of clever. Like I actually like that.
Here's an idea: establish a DC like Ultimate universe. That way you can start from the very beginning.
What's funny is they did exactly that with the New 52. They tried to do Ultimate,
no.
but actually in main. No. Let me explain. They tried to do the Ultimate, but they did it in main universe. They just rebooted everything in the main universe. But essentially, they were just doing Ultimate. That's essentially what they were doing.
No, but I'm saying have two publishing lines like Marvel did.
What would you call it? Actually, even though the name's already taken, I would have called it DC Rebirth.
Or but essentially it would be for like more mature storyline, more mature takes. We could retell classic storylines, but change them up a little bit. No, let's have a place where we can have these changes. And okay, so on that note, I think it's a good place to leave it, because the game's all done installing and we're running out of things to talk about. So Nick, always a pleasure having you on.
Oh yes, I got about another hour with you, so I'm looking forward to it.
Let's do it. And this project that Nick and I are doing will be revealed probably Monday or Tuesday, most likely Monday.
I did kind of hint about it on my Twitter, but you know.
Yeah, if you saw that, that's a massive hint. Anyway, guys, stay heroic. I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you in the next one. Stay heroic. Bye-bye.